Hi everyone, welcome back. Today we're going to be looking at standard 7.G.B.4. Know the formulas for the area and circumference of a circle and use them to solve problems. Give an informal derivation of the relationship between the circumference and area of a circle. Our formula for calculating the area of a circle is A equals pi r squared, and our formulas for the circumference, C equals 2 pi r or C equals pi d, where r represents the radius and d represents the diameter. Whenever we calculate area, our measurement is in squared units, so it would be inches squared, feet squared, miles squared, so on and so forth. Our steps for calculating the area given the circumference. Step 1, divide the circumference by pi, 3.14. Step 2, divide the result from step 1 by 2. This will give us the circle's radius. Step 3, follow the steps to calculate the area using the formula A equals pi r squared. Our example, find the area of a circle whose circumference is 18.84 centimeters. So here we're going to use the circumference formula C equals pi d, where pi is represented as 3.14. And then we're going to substitute 18.84 in for the circumference. Now to get the d, which represents the diameter by itself, we're going to do step 1, and that's to divide both sides by 3.14. The 3.14s here will cancel out, and I have d by itself, which represents, again, the diameter. 18.84 divided by 3.14 is equal to 6. Now, this is not the radius, this is the diameter. In order to find the radius, we now have to do step 2 and to divide this number by 2, which is equal to 3. So the radius is equal to 3. Now let's go ahead and find the area. The formula for calculating the area is A equals pi r squared. So we're now going to substitute 3.14 for pi. The r is the number 3, and we're going to square that. Okay, so 3 squared is 9, and we're multiplying that by 3.14. And that is equal to 28.26. Don't forget those units. We're working with centimeters, so this will be centimeters squared. So the area of a circle whose circumference is 18.84 centimeters is 28.26 centimeters squared. Find the area of a circle whose circumference is 56.52 inches. So again, we're starting off with the formula C equals pi d, where pi is represented as 3.14. And I'm rewriting my d, and I'm going to plug in 56.52 for my circumference. So I'm going to rewrite this without the parentheses. And then I'm going to use inverse operations to divide both sides by 3.14 to calculate my diameter. I just noticed that I wrote 56.32 instead of 56.52. When I divide that by 3.14, I get that d is equal to 18. Now to find the radius, I need to divide this number by 2. So the radius is equal to 9. Let's go ahead and substitute that into our formula for calculating the area. And if you notice, I'm rewriting my formula each time just because it helps to ensure that when I plug my values in, I'm plugging them in correctly. Okay, so my area is equal to 3.14 times 9 squared. 9 squared is 81, and we're going to multiply that by 3.14. Remember to use your rules for multiplying decimals. The product of 3.14 and 81 is equal to 254.34. So the area here is 254.34 inches squared. Our next example, the circumference of a circle is 69.08 miles. What is the area of that circle? So we're starting off again with our formula for circumference, which is C equals pi d. And then we're replacing the pi with 3.14. We have our D there, and then we're going to substitute the 69.08 for the circumference. I'm going to rewrite this without the parentheses, and then I'm going to do inverse operation to get the D by itself. So that means I'm dividing both sides by 3.14. This here cancels out, and I have D is equal to 22. That is the diameter. I need the radius. I'm going to divide that by 2. So the radius is equal to 11. Now I'm going to write my formula for the area of a circle, which is A equals pi r squared. I'm going to substitute 3.14 in for pi, and the 11 is my radius, and that's being squared. 11 squared is equal to 121, and we're going to multiply that by our 3.14. So I find that the area of this circle is 379.04 miles squared. All right, our units are always going to be squared whenever we're calculating the area. The circumference of a circle is 87.92 feet. What is the area of this circle? So we're going to start with writing our formula for the circumference. So C equals pi d. And then we're going to substitute in our values. So 3.14 for pi, we're finding d, and then 87.92 for our circumference. So now I'm going to do inverse operation, divide both sides by 3.14. And I find that d is equal to 28. So again, that's the diameter. So I have to now divide this by 2 to find that the radius is equal to 14. Now let's go ahead and write our formula for calculating the area. We're going to replace pi with 3.14. And we're going to use the radius of 14 to calculate. 14 squared is 196. And we're going to multiply that by our 3.14. And we find that the product of 3.14 and 196 is 615.44. Our units feet, so that'll be feet squared. So the area of a circle whose circumference is 87.92 feet is 615.44 feet squared. Thank you for watching and have a great day.